All right, I'm getting the thumbs up. Apparently, I am on this live stream. Welcome to 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. We were just singing WKRP in Cincinnati songs because of the late night. I like to think I'm Johnny Fever. I don't think I'm that cool. Now I'm looking at myself in tape delay over there, so if that messes me up, I'm sorry. Also, for those of you who even followed Twitter, I was being really rambunctious about stuff that I want to do, so I'm going to start this on a high note. Who wants to win every single Swedish premium in the game? Let's just start with that. That includes the tier. I've got a cheat sheet. I can't remember almost all. Remember them all. I'm sorry. Tier 2, Tom TL60, one of those suckers. Tier 3, Toldy 3. Sounds good. Tier 6, medium, Struve 4257, Alt A2. Tier 8, Struve 81. Tier 8, Premio Victoria, including the crew for that, the Sabaton crew. Tier 8 TD Struve S1 and the Tier 8 Stark Struve S1. And why not? They all come with 100% trained crews. They all come with a garage slot. And I'm going to throw in 2 extra weeks of premium. And all you have to do to be entered for a random chance to win how I'm going to set the tone for my live stream for the Children's Miracle Network is just tell me any Swedish tank. Tech Tree Premium, I don't care. Just put it in chat. We'll pull you off in random. Jeff Gregg, lead designer, World of Tanks console, starting stuff off right. I love coming to the Children's Miracle Network Extra Life Marathon. I love this time slot because only the hardest of the hardcore are here at this time. Hot beverage, it's caffeinated, no other substance in it. This is what I need. I need uppers right now. But you guys don't need uppers. You're here contributing. You guys are playing. You guys are watching the stream. All you guys and gals, you guys are the real heroes. It's so awesome to see our current tally, all the money we've made. I think I see a lot of people trying to win a whole bunch of Swedish tanks. I picked that, just if you were curious, because I'm a huge fan of the Swedish line. I actually think it's one of the hidden gems in World of Tanks console. And the reason I call it hidden gem is I think a lot of love goes towards the USSR tanks, the American line, the German line, a lot of the what I'll call classic line. But the Swedish line, to me, especially those siege tanks, man, that stick and move, like, to me, that is the epitome of a sniper experience in our game. I don't know if you agree or disagree. But either way, if you want to have all of the premium siege tanks in the game, plus all the other premium Swedish tanks in the game, keep typing any Swedish tank in the chat. And my stalwart hero, Mr. Daniel Pinch, who was on a stream earlier, will be the one who's rolling the dice and seeing which one of you lucky gentlemen or ladies walks away with some cool stuff. Rock on. So, also, I want you to not forget, while I'm actually filibustering and buying some time to see who wins the top of the hour, there is a bounty event right now. You destroy that bounty tank, and you earn a reward. It's got a glowing team composition bar element. They have gold camo, and have fun destroying those suckers. Yeah, I love those. I remember when we first did the bounty event, it's funny how it changes everyone's behavior. Any concept of self-preservation or teamwork, I found, goes out the window as people just YOLO to get that bounty event. So that's some pretty cool stuff. Wait, whoa. You guys want to know who's the winner? Show of hands. I like to pretend somebody out there waved. Rage Runner 78. Rage Runner 78, that's your tag, thank you. You said Primo Victoria, and now that's one out of all the Swedish tanks that you will soon own. Our stalwart people will take care of that, track you down, make sure that all goes into your account. I also want to say that's the very first thing I started with. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. I feel like giving away a whole bunch of stuff. I talked to my boss. Everybody confabbed, we wrestled, we punched a lot. I always lose punching matches. To be completely transparent to you guys, black tanks are off the table. I tried. I really tried. I love black tanks. I can't give away any of those. Everything else that's a premium vehicle is on the table. So we'll see what happens. You guys can infer, based on how I started, what may be down the pipe. And speaking down the pipe, let's look back along the pipe we've just traveled down for a really dumb analogy. It's almost the end of 2018, and it's been another solid year of World of Tanks on the console, and I like to put on a little bit of a humble hat and say, like, the entire dev team is super, super gratified about all our players who continue to join us, play a lot. I look at some of the battles you guys and gals are playing, and I'm like, you guys are really into this game. And all your newcomers, it's like, it's really cool to see this ecosystem, this community thrive, and to be part of it, and be honestly have the honor of and the obligation to continue to keep it up and running, to add features, to fix things. Sometimes we break stuff, and to make the game great that you are all enjoying. And I wanted to thank you all for that on behalf of the team. I think we did a development best of video pre-record that may have aired. I'm getting a nod yes. Arty, for those of you who know and love him, is also helping me here. They're going to keep me on track, because sometimes I tend to swear, and other times I tend to kind of ramble. I'm getting a lot of really vigorous nodding over there. And I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the game and my talking thus far. Again, congratulations to our first winner. We'll see what happens and what the next sweet thing is. But anyway, 2018, Mercenaries came online. We got contracts up and running. People are gobbling those up, whether they want to do the stuff or just pay outright for the stuff. We've got a bunch of really cool war stories near the beginning that like kicked off Mercenaries. I'm still a huge fan of war stories, and a lot of people continue to play those. Those are cool to see those are going. And then the meat potatoes of the game, the random battle multiplayer, the platoons, the fighting, the climbing those tech trees. There's just some cool stuff happening out there, and it's cool to see you guys all doing that cool stuff. Sip. I'm actually, you guys are talking, and like the thread is just going really, really fast. I'll try to take some time to answer some questions as I see them out. Someone's just asking if I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm a spaz. But I will take that as, hey, dude, you're talking really fast, so I'll slow down. I do tend to talk a lot. Actually, a little slice of life in terms of game development. The way that we work is we have what we call the pit, which is not a unique name, and the designers all sit together, which is right next to the vehicle artists, the tank artists, and that flows gently into the environment artists, the technical artists, the people that make the game look beautiful and continue to run at an acceptable performance rate. And I often, every morning after the leads meeting, get up and give everyone the daily stand-up, the state of affairs. And I imagine it sounds, well, except for giving people things, a lot like this. I probably talk pretty fast. I definitely stumble over my own words. I get really, really excited. So I also really enjoy an audience. So the energy comes out because it's just cool. So thank you very much for telling me to not be nervous, and I'll try to slow it on down in case it's hard to hear things. So how are you guys liking the Extra Life Marathon so far? You having a good time? You've been with us for the whole kit and caboodle up until this point. I think it's kind of fair to say we're at least in sight of, if not already in, the home stretch. You think that's fair, everybody? Is this home stretch territory yet, or nah, not quite yet? I'm getting no's. So we're not on the home stretch yet, but maybe we could see it kind of over the horizon. The reason I'm referring it to that way is I am not one of those people that's been here since the start of the Extra Life Marathon 2018. I actually rolled my lazy butt in for the first 2 a.m. so that I could hang out and talk to people till the second 2 a.m. and actually kind of participate a little bit for Tanking After Dark, which seemed a little ludicrous but super awesome. Those guys seem to have a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun about that too. Someone just said, shout out to, who is this? Movado75. Shout out to Pain God for keeping a good group and team that's doing a great job. That is absolutely true. Pain God is a great person to work for. He's actually my direct manager, creative director, and executive producer, and boss if I messed up your titles. You can fire me Monday. How about that? Yeah, he has a great team, which I am honored to be a part of. And we're all working really hard, kind of part and parcel, and as an example of everybody around me right now that's still playing as bounties and making sure that I don't screw up the Twitch stream and screaming and eating pizza in the kitchen. A good group of people. It's good to work with them, and hats off to Pain God, absolutely. So now I'm just going to stare wistfully into the camera and take another sip of coffee. Slowing it on down. Wait a minute. I see another question. At Watt Console, Audio Beats, what do you got? Is there already a way you could transfer tanks from multiple Xbox accounts? I have 2, but I just want to focus on the one now. All right, no, I'm not aware of a way to do that. You could talk to CSRs, but I bet you're going to get an answer. We're sorry, we don't support that. Let's talk a little bit about how the accounts work. Because we're on the console, when you log in, either on your PlayStation 4 Pro or otherwise, both awesome pieces of hardware, or your Xbox de jure 360 all the way to Xbox One X, your Xbox Live handle is associated with an account that's automatically created on our servers, and that's your account. That's where all of your income, your silver, and your XP, and any gold that you earn, are awarded, or buy ends up, and it's all contained within an account. Now, there is no easy way to take Xbox Live handle A and Xbox Live handle B and form Voltron into Mega Xbox Live handle. We would have to do a lot of due diligence of making sure you are both of those accounts to make sure you're not stealing from somebody or somebody's not stealing from you. And it's just not something we normally do. But kudos for you for having 2 accounts and grinding. Did you just buy another account, or use like your kid brother or sister's account? Or that's interesting, but I'm sorry I can't help you up too much there, but that's basically how it works. Here's another question. Are there any bounty tanks on PS4 EU? Yesterday, no bounty tank seen. Hope to see one today. The bounty event, we're on all servers, all platforms, right? Is anybody going to nod their head or shake their head? So, yeah, like, it might be harder to see one. Now, keep in mind, a bounty is going to get out there, and you're probably going to find one per battle if you find it in a battle. And then sometimes it's going to be on your team, which, I mean, I'll put on my gamer hat. If you're, like, having a hard time finding a bounty, and that one time you find one, it's on your team, like, yeah, I would play Sad Tuba, and I'm sorry about that. But try to protect your bounty. Maybe make those people on the other team earn it. Yeah, just keep trying. I can't really tell you when or how to be lucky, other than to keep trying. And they're out there. They're out there to be killed and to give away the goodies. Someone just said they have seen 2 on PS4 NA, both on his team. Who is that? Stormy Knight 723. Were they on your team at the same time in the same match? We were actually just talking about that. It's like, oh my God, there's 2 bounties on my team. No, like, that's just. But matchmaker's gonna matchmake. You know what I mean? Like, it's to the matchmaker, those bounties are not any different. They just look at the tier. They look at all the normal information and throw them in a match. And sometimes they might be on the same team. Now, if you ever see bounties platooning, yell, because I want to go smack them with a dead fish, because that's really unfair. That means they'll always be on the same team, and that's not cool. But if they're not platooning, it's just a matchmaker's choice, right? But yeah, keep the questions coming. Like, I talked a lot about some of the good stuff that happened. Like, another thing I like to talk about and like reflect on, especially near the end of a year, is some of the challenges we had, or some of the lessons we learned. And I think a lot of the stuff we did, we continue to refine and make better. But I also just want to talk about that, because a lot of that happened with your direct feedback and comments, and certainly with analytics and stuff like that. And one of the first things I want to talk about is Mercenary's contracts. Mercenary contracts, just to give a quick version in case you haven't partaken and haven't enjoyed them yet, are a series of staged tasks, kind of similar to an earn-op for a lot of you that have been around for a while. And each one of these stages requires you to do specific things with specific vehicles in order to move to the next stage. When you do move on to the next stage, you get some rewards for the stage you just completed. And for most of the contracts, not all the contracts, you can also choose to buy your way out of that stage or the entire contract. Just because you're like, I don't want to do this, I don't feel I can do this, I really think this is a sweet vehicle and I want it right now. Whatever your reasoning, you can do those things. Our launch contracts, in my opinion, were a little too complex for their own good. We learned a lot of lessons. The goal, what we were trying to do is a scavenger hunt. And what we meant by that is not literally making you look and find these hidden ways to complete, but like saying, oh, which tank do I need for this stage in order to complete it? And do I have to grind up to that tank, or do I already have it? Am I going to choose to just buy out the stage or buy out the vehicle so I can do this stage? And I found, we all found, because those were expressed by vehicles based on their module, that was just too confusing. So what I hope you've been seeing is as we iterate on contracts and either relist a contract or put out new ones, the criteria is becoming easier and easier to understand. I actually liken it to our ranked battle system. For those who have been around for a while, ranked battles started very, very complex in an effort to be very fair and very specific to your skill set. And it involved a lot of math on the back end that was almost impossible to tell you in the client. And when I say client, I'm referring to the piece of hardware you're playing on, the Xbox, the PS4, what have you. And so I actually made a mandate, which is not something I usually say, that the next ranked battle is going to be, I don't care, well, I do care, but if the complaints is I totally get the rules, but I don't like them, that's better than I don't understand the rules, this system stinks. So we made it really, really simple. And that was our most successful season, where it was just +1, -1 versus this weird sliding scale based on your XP on the winning or losing team. So simpler is turning out to be better in a lot of cases, and that's just something we continue to learn, which is actually hard in this game because, man, with all of the modules, all of the vehicles, all of the armor angles and different things that everyone loves about World of Tanks, that depth that makes it so cool in terms of learning new lines, learning new nations, learning new lines within nations. That complexity is something we always want to have, as long as the transparency and readability of whatever the thing is we're currently talking about is preserved. Gingerfoot says giveaway. Let's see what time it is. Oh, you wait 5 minutes and maybe some sweet stuff will happen. I have my phone cheat sheet here, which has my dog on it. I don't know if you can see that. So I don't have to think about the time, and there's no big annoying clock staring me in the face. I just carry my magic pocket computer, like I believe we all do. Sip. Alrighty. Let's see. New war stories. I think somebody, it scrolled by really quick. Somebody was asking about new war stories. We're actually analyzing new war stories, trying to figure out what story we might want to do, trying to figure out when and what the right story might be. I wouldn't expect one anytime soon. I will tell you there have been stories that we have aggressively pursued that we threw away. There was actually one, I think, Professor Dr. Magic Man, anime master Daryl Higa was talking about, which is his full title, and he really appreciates it when you refer to him just like that every time you talk to him. That involved this Swedish line, which we now have one player who owns the entire premium collection of. And it was both from a narrative standpoint and from a gameplay standpoint, not something that we were able to pursue. So I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's definitely retired. It's just an example of something that was talked about pretty aggressively that never saw the light of day. There was another idea that anytime a new line or a new nation or a new thing that was really demonstrably cool came out, that there should be a story narratively introducing that. The tip of the spear on that, I would say, is actually Mercenaries, which was bookended. There was the 3 single chapter stories before they launched, and then there was the story when they launched with the Trinity Mark I, which introduced how our alternate fiction, how the history worked, how Mercenaries came to be, and gave everyone a taste. If they didn't even want to go into the contracts or even try one, you can always go into Mercenaries. You can play the Trinity Mark I and check it out. And once you've beaten that story, you can use that story tank in any of the war stories. I personally still play in the Tigre quite a bit. That comes from Runaway Tiger. I think that's my favorite story tank. Like, it is super solid, and actually we wanted that thing to be really cool, and part of what's fun about war stories is you can adjust those vehicles to be specific to the story, because you know there's never a danger of those vehicles ending up in random battle. So I think if you have a Tigre tank with a repair kit and a toolbox and track mechanic as a cruise skill, and you get tracked, it's like less than a second before you're up and running again, because that thing, apparently Delacroix is really, really good about leaping out of her tank and repairing her tracks and getting back in. It's pretty cool stuff. I really enjoy that. I've actually played Kennedy's War in that thing. That last chapter where you're trying to stop the missiles from launching, you can get there quick, and there ain't no AI that's going to stop you. It's pretty fun. Oh, someone asks in blue font that I'll never have any chance of reading because my eyes are old man eyes. Are we getting a free tank for Christmas? Maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny. I can say that we are super, super generous. Someone's asking me, maybe a blanket statement to cover all the will there be blank on sale this year for November questions? Do you have a blanket answer you want me to give? Or you just want me to address that you wanted me to ask? So I got hijacked. My own question about the giveaway tank for Christmas, which there may or may not be one that I can confirm, but I will say we are really a generous company. In terms of what are the sales, my blanket answer, it is almost 2:30 in the morning here in Chicago, and I honestly don't remember. Like, with the events team, a lot of that stuff happens outside of the game development team, and I know they've been talking about a lot of really cool events. And I don't remember what our November sales plans are. But I'm going to make that up to you. Does everyone want some giveaways right now? I don't know if I'm convinced that you guys want free stuff. At the top of the hour, I gave away a whole ton of Swedish stuff, as in all the Swedish stuff that I could give away. This one, I think, like, let me think. I got a list of stuff that's potential here. Doing that for comedic effect. If it's not funny, I enjoyed it, and it's my stream. Daniel Pinch left. You know what? You know what? Medium love. I like mediums. Let's look at some mediums. So this is for one winner. Let me see. My favorite, Jeff's favorite mediums. I love a lot of mediums. So this is like maybe the creme de la creme, or things that I really like. How about, let's say, the USA Tier 6 Sherman Fury. I still think that was one of the greatest tanks we ever made. Love the movie. It's super cool. Let's say we talked a lot about the Trinity Mark 1, the Tier 8 Trinity Mark 2 medium. Let's do that too. So both of those tanks. Is 2 enough? I'm getting a lot of no's. How about the Swedish Tier 8 Premio Victoria? And yeah, let's throw in Sabaton into that. Sabaton's cool. It's 3. Let's keep going. More. How about a Edelweiss, Japanese Tier 8 Medium Edelweiss? That's a super cool tank. Complete with cruise. And you know what? All of those things get garage slots, because do you know how much it would stink if I gave you a vehicle and you didn't have a garage slot, so instead you got refunded for it? That would stink. Let's make sure those all have cruise. And you know what? I'm also going to throw in a 3 weeks premium. 3 weeks premium with all that stuff. So obviously you're going to be chomping at the bit asking what to answer. Let's do an easy one, because I just talked about it, and one of its sisters, its namesake, is actually in what we're giving away. Just type in chat your gamer tag and the name of the Mercenary War Story tank. I mentioned it several times, and it may or may not be related to the Trinity Mark II, which is what we're giving away right now. And I don't know how to be more obvious than that. But if you put in the name of the War Story tank from the Mercenary, you don't have to put the full name. There's one key word, which is also part of the Trinity Mark II. And then you can be entered. And one of you guys or gals can get a whole bunch of cool stuff. You know, there's something about 2:30 a.m. that makes even really garbage office coffee, and this is garbage, taste amazing. So like, it's just you know, doing the job, waking me up. We have a lot of really good people that are involved in facilities and office management, and if you're awake right now looking at me slagging at what is honestly a perk and I don't really need to have, chalk it up to being 2:30 in the morning and I'm trying to be entertaining. Did someone just say Rambo Trinity? Because I think that's cool. That doesn't mean you win if that's what you said, but we're still going to just pick from the pot. But I think I just saw someone say Rambo Trinity. So that's pretty cool. That's probably also your gamer tag. Again, a little sloppy. A little slowing it on down again. Slowing it on down again. I'm getting laughed at hardcore. I want to be graded, by the way. For those of you who've seen me every Extra Life, is this one better so far or worse so far? And then how much of a bump is giving away obscene amounts of tanks in giant bundles you're giving me. Does that make me cooler to watch or just tolerable? I have my own opinions. Garbage coffee. Hey, you know what I haven't talked about in a really long time? Keep the on the screen for a second, would you? Children's Miracle Network Hospital, Extra Life. That's why we're here. We're not actually here to watch Jeff give us free stuff, right? No, no. And we've raised $3,081. We're not at $5,000 yet, but I'm hoping as you find people are getting all this cool stuff that you can donate. There are definitely bonus codes that go out based on different water lines. Although I have a note on that I'll talk about in a moment. But your generosity is amazing. And I want to thank everyone who's donated. And I want to thank everyone who's donated their time. And for those of you where that actually overlaps and you've donated your money and your time, a very special thank you. That was my little Shatner thing. Do we have a winner yet? We're thinking about it. We do have a winner. So, for a reminder before I read this out loud, this is for 3 weeks premium, the Fury, the Trinity Mark II, the Primo Vic, and the Eldweiss. Who's our winner? Lock and Loaded, who said Trinity, which was the right answer. Congratulations, Lock and Loaded. I hope you enjoy your vehicles. I hope to see you out in the battlefield. That's a pretty sweet deal. Pretty cool. Is that cool? Would you guys be happy with that? That'd be acceptable? Okay, I'm getting a nod. I'm getting a nod. One of our newest designers is actually here watching me, trying to figure out what mistakes not to make on a live stream. Stretch! So I looked at him and he was like, huh? Yeah, that's a good idea. So like he was giving me the nod. It's pretty cool stuff. Snap!
Snap. I did not get your attention. I think we should hold raffles until donations go up.
All right, I'm being told that we should hold raffles until donations go up. And someone's just doing caps. Arlette says, tell Jeff to withhold raffles until donations go up. You have now proven that anything you just put in text, I'm going to read before I understand what I'm reading.
What does this cue card say?
This next cue card says, stop reading everything I type, you effing idiot. Fudging. Yeah, see, I'm not swearing yet. I am being told that I'm being too generous. I don't know if I agree, but I think that the donations should go up. I mean, we're being super generous over here. You guys are all, and your gals are all here, giving your time, listen to my lips flap, waiting for that next sweet, sweet giveaway. You know, open your heart. These are kids. It's a worthy cause. It actually, you know what? We're talking about like tanks going out in the battlefield and blowing each other up and then upgrading themselves with XP and silver. These are people's lives. And it's a really good cause, and I'm super proud to be a part of it. Donations would be super cool. So in lieu of donations and in lieu of free stuff, and by the way, someone would have to come out here and tackle me to prevent me from giving away more. It's just a question of when now at this point. Let's see what other questions we got here. You guys, like, I don't know if I said on the top of the hour, because again, punchy, a little slappy, a little bit of a spaz. Lead designer, World of Tanks console. This guy right here. I could do the Blake Sheldon from The Voice for those of you. Oh, gave The Voice a plug. Why did I do that? Any questions you have for me? Worst case is I will miss it on the super fast stream and apologize to you ahead of time. Or I will say I can't answer it and tell you why I can't answer it. But hopefully there's stuff that I can answer because, golly gee, I love answering questions. Give the Locust the armor of the mouse. Who said that? JM1992. You want me to give the Locust the armor of the mouse? That would be fascinating. How would you defeat that? Would that even be possible? Thinking about it. And would you want it to slow down the Locust? Would it essentially become just glued to the terrain because it is so freaking heavy? It's basically a giant chunk. It's a paperweight now. It's a low tier paperweight. Maybe that's what we'd rename it, the paperweight. That's an interesting idea. I do have a question for it. Wait, hey Jeff, someone got my attention. Who are we? Jesus Crust 2. Where are you, Jesus Crust? Hey Jeff, is there a possibility of an Arty magnet inscription or emblem being added to the game in the near future? Jesus Crust. I love that name. Can I say your name a couple more times? And why 2? Is there a Jesus Crust 1? I want to meet Jesus Crust 1. Jesus Crust 2 is better. It's a bigger number. You know what? We're always looking for good ideas for emblems and inscriptions. Do you feel like you're an Arty magnet? Do you feel like Arty shells go, oh, whoops, and then hit you, Jesus Crust? There is actually super secret reveal Python code on the server that looks for the gamer tag Jesus Crust and aims at it. It's crazy. I'm totally kidding. So yeah, I mean, we'll put that in the backlog, which is something I'll talk about here in a second. But that's a good idea. I think emblems and inscriptions that people love to customize their tanks with are really, really neat things to do. And speaking of customization, let's talk about customizable flags. You know what? I think we gloss over those. Like that was a long time coming. Probably longer than we thought it was going to take to put in. It was an interesting challenge. Technically, one of the things we had to account for is not only does every vehicle now need a flag node, we need to be able to store in memory what you have and make sure that that information gets broadcast to all 29 other players when you're playing in multiplayer. But man, I think it's really cool. Ever since I saw the initial Stars and Stripes on the Freedom tank, I was like, oh, this is cool. I wish I could have a pirate flag, or I wish I could have a Wargaming logo flag, or anything else. Your talks about emblems and inscriptions, Jesus Crust 2, I'm going to say your name so many times, it's glorious, reminded me that all of the emblems and inscriptions are also made available as flag customization stamps. So you can go in there, pick the shape of your flag, pick the color and the pattern, and then pick the emblem or inscription. And you know what? If you just want a solid color or just stripes, you can do that too. You don't need to stamp it. Some pretty cool stuff. I've seen some clans make a flag that's on every one of their vehicles, and it obeys all the same rules as the other customizations, where you can buy it permanently or do a silver cost if you just want it for like a special, maybe you want to fly a very special flag for extra life. Totally an opportunity there for you to do that. And please let us have more options to customize flags, says Bunny Slayer 88. Maybe we could put Jesus Crust 2's ideas on the flag customization if that ever comes out. Yeah, having more options, having a lot more options is definitely something we want to do. What is interesting, and we know this because we look at all of the data, is because there are so many options for flag customization, what gets used the most is honestly like the first 2 pages or so, because I think there's 60. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Oh, you know what? I can check. I have a console right in front of me. This is Archie's account, so I'm going to spend all his gold. Let's see. Customize. Let's put a flag on this. Oh, yeah, no, I can do that. I can do one giveaway. I've just told I can do one giveaway. The donations went up. Thank you so much. I'm going to hold off on that giveaway, though. It will come. But let's see. There are... How many stamps? Oh, it doesn't even tell me. Well, yeah, it does. 34 pages of stuff. It's funny, like, that is a lot of stuff. So what we would have to do, this is all the emblems and inscriptions. You can filter it. See, emblems and inscriptions are everything. But that is a lot to search through. So let's see, like, let's see. How do I want to spend Archie's gold? We're going to put, let's see here. Archie, what do you hate? I want to put that on your Edelweiss. I'm also a troll. I've said that several times in the design pit, and I've been told several times. And I'm being waved at. Hi. We're going to put some Cyrillic on it. We're going to make it orange. We're going to make it tattered. And we're going to put a honeycomb shape on that sucker. And we are going to buy it. Oh, you have a voucher. I'm going to use one of his vouchers. That's even cooler than using his gold. Goodbye, voucher. Hello, flag. Just that easy. I'm glad you had a voucher in your account, Archie. That's another thing that is pretty cool. Is you can get customization vouchers for both your crew and your any amount of customization, your camo, your emblems, your inscriptions, and your customized flags. One of the things I do on every crew I have is I make sure to put the Mercenary English on those suckers because I think it's really cool. When we made the Mercenary line, we wanted a new voice. And we were trying to decide what to do, and it was the goal was to try to make like this hodgepodge of people, right? Like you're not a nation, you're not affiliated with a king or country. The almighty gold piece, I guess, to use the game lexicon, is what drives your motivation. So we actually looked for different dialects that were almost but not quite identifiable, and I think we found a lot of really good references in Australia, England, and actually South Africa. And that was the genesis of the accents for the Mercenary crew, and it was a lot of fun to write and record those lines and get those on in there. I don't know if you can hear the screaming in the background. I'm assuming that's because they just drank the coffee I'm drinking. They don't have the strength I do to be here, sit with you people, give away stuff, and talk all about the world of tanks on the console. Hey, something else is highlighted, but I can't really read it. Are you guys aware that the mini-map bug, your teammates will ping, let's say at A5, but F2 will light up? Yes, I am aware of that bug. Do you know the status on that? You don't. That's cool. So I will explain how that bug happens. The way that the minimap grid coordinate system works underneath the hood, if this is interesting to you, is not every map is the same size in terms of dimensions. Some are smaller, some are bigger, blah, blah, blah. And what we have to do is we have to do markup to tell the system, this is grid A1, this is grid B2, blah, 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 blah. And obviously we let the machine do that, because having any content creator literally do 10 by 10 for every single map I've had in the game, I mean, it was just no thank you. Maybe that system messed up. So it would be interesting to know if it's a problem on every map or on some specific maps. Those would be two different solutions, honestly. I mean, I guess they could conceivably be the same solution. But yeah, bugs like that, they happen. And you'll get my personal apology right here. That bugs like that, big or small, happen to you. You guys spend a lot of time. You guys honestly just acquire a lot of gold and get a lot of cool stuff in the game, and you deserve the best we can give you. So when bugs like that happen, you get a Jeff Gregg apology, and we're gonna look into it. We'll fix it. We'll make it right.
Good news is it is logged and in progress.
I'm being told it is log and in progress. If I were a player, my response would be our top men on it, and then this bug's getting filed away into a giant box right next to the Ark of the Covenant. Indiana Jones reference +5. All right, top men are on it. Top men. I got a thumbs up on that one. Polish tanks. You guys want Polish tanks? All right, right now, no, I'm kidding. I can't do that. If there's a big switch and I could just create an entire line from this couch, then why would our team be so big? We got all sorts of tanks coming down the pipe, and that may or may not be a line that you'll see soon. I don't know how much about the Polish line I could talk about, but I will say I'm very excited about new lines that may be coming into the game soon. Wink. What's the issue with fixing the T29 traversed tracks? Traversed tracks. I can't read your gamer tag. I'm sorry. You know, it sorts your gamer tags by different colors, and the really, really dark blue one is super hard to read. That is Steampunk Pagan. Traversed tracks. I don't know what the phrase traverse track. You mean the track traversal? More details on what that means, and I'll get you an answer. Let's keep moving. Please answer my question. Which can, again, this is scrolling quick. And now I got another one highlighted. Will there be a premium tank tree discount again like last year? So if you guys remember, if you've been watching me during this live stream, Archie typed in a notepad, which is on a screen over here you can't see, try to address the what are our November specials blank mass questions. And my answer was, I really don't know what the events team's plan is for this November is. I honestly don't. I probably should, but I am really trying to make stuff like the grid marking system, this live stream, and traverse tracks get better, as well as adding all the new content. That's an explanation, not an excuse. I should know more. I really don't. We'll get you those answers. Stay tuned to the forums. Stay tuned to console.worldoftanks.com, and we'll get you those answers. And I'm sorry that this 2 to 4 a.m. live stream is not where that answer specifically is going to come right at you. And speaking of Extra Life Marathon, which is what we're all here for, remember that bounty event. I haven't talked about that for a while. Look for those bounties. Find those bounty tanks. Earn a reward when you murder it. Obviously, there's no friendly fire, so if it's on your team, protect it from the enemy and deny them their sweet rewards. or shoot it and get your own awards. It's a lot of fun, and they're really working hard. I'm actually watching somebody's about to go into Pack Island War in an encounter battle. So if you're loading Pack Island War in an encounter battle on what platform are you on over there? Is that a PS4 or an Xbox?
Xbox.
That's Xbox. You are in luck potentially. All right. So, is there a chance to discuss add the TAM tank as a premium tank? The Argentinian medium tank. We have. Oh, I'll talk about the backlog. This is a fun part. I always enjoy the backlog.
I'm so excited about it.
Backlog time. All right. You guys all came to hear me sing, right? Oh, one of us did. I'm watching the time for I don't know why. Why would I be watching the time? The backlog. The backlog is a giant stack. I wish it was literal. I wish it was a literal piece of paper, not like digital. Because then we could be like, what are we going to do? Of just content, features, additions, modifications, blah, 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 that are constantly being added to and accomplished as we go through every release of the game. That list will never be at zero ever until maybe I'm in a pine box, in which case I won't care. And as you guys ask for things, that goes into this backlog. Very rarely, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes there's some suggestions, even from the design team, that are just bad. Those don't go into the backlog. The example I always use is, let's make tanks jump. Maybe it's an event mode that's never going into the real game whenever having jumping tanks. But all of the stuff goes into the backlog, and we're constantly shifting priorities on what's broke, what needs to be better, what new content are people asking for, what new content can we provide, what bandwidth do we have to do all of those first four things I talked about. So when you ask for new tanks, that goes into the backlog. And it's not one for one. It's not like the team that is making tanks is bottlenecked by the gameplay engineers that are working on the sound engine, or the matchmaker, or whatever. Like, it's not one task that the entire team as a giant monolith tackles at a time, but it is determined by priorities, and it shifts, and sometimes it even shifts mid milestone. We have had things that we start a milestone saying this is the most important thing, we need to do it, and then 2 weeks in we're like, we actually have to fix this, which will bump this thing because this is the most important. It's a constantly shifting list of action items. And it's part of the reason I really enjoy working in game dev and game design, because it's never the same thing every day. Like the best planning gets smashed by targets opportunity or critical problems. So that's the backlog. Oh, someone just closed it, but I saw a giant picture of a banana on the screen, or I am really hallucinating. I'll leave that up to you to judge. We're scrolling some tank questions really fast here. Can you make the glitch where I ride inside a tank after I die a real thing? So fun. So we're actually adding, or have added, as the case may be, because I don't remember if this was released during common test, in replay, being able to use the sniper cam of the observed tank. So yes, we can do that. It's if that's what you mean by ride inside a tank, it's actually one of the things that was in the backlog that we're finally trying to get to. We're also doing a lot of work on our replay system to make sure it's cool. A lot of people use that. They have a lot of fun. It's also really fun if you see something crazy and zany happen, to just say, what exactly happened? I'm going to go rewind where I can see the entire battlefield and look at this replay. We're actually going to be doing some work that'll come out as soon as it's ready. And I know, like, again, if I was a gamer, I'd roll my eyes at that answer, but like, to be able to share your replays more easily, or to even maybe be able to search replays more easily, so it's not just confined to what people have exposed to you as cool stuff to see, or your own battles. So yeah, the replay system's got a lot of cool stuff in there. I remember during the Halloween event mode that we just recently played, we were all revenants fighting each other, and then we saw, I think, a lichen all of a sudden just like fly through the air as a corpse. We're like, what the heck happened? So we actually watched the replay. Someone had leapt over the ghost train and hit a piece of collision, got racked somehow. Maybe they got shot at the same time, and then just split apart in the air. And it was super cool to watch it on the replay. It was super, super cool. So if you haven't been using the replay, I recommend you do it, and it's going to keep getting better. Please answer my next question. It's important. All right, you got my attention. I'm going to read it to myself first. All right. The question is, or it's a statement, it's not a question. They want a sound effect that you can hear the shell landing inside the tank after you fire. With the newest sound update, I think I could say done. Like, I'm hearing a lot of brass clanging in vehicles. So, cheers. Sip. Ooh, someone's asking about Japanese artillery. That would be interesting. You know, whenever I talk about, or it ever comes up, that we might actually do anything with artillery, man, we start to see polarization. There's a love-hate relationship with those suckers, huh? I remember not too long ago we actually had trajectory cam, where if you're an artillery, you start in top-down, which is called strategic cam. And then if you hold down the stick click, if you tap it, you'll zoom in and out like this, or up and down, I guess as the case is. You'll go into a trajectory view, which is very similar, if not identical, to the trajectory that the bullet or the shell will fly. And that's really cool for lining up a pretty precise shot. Now, I have seen some people complain that they think that makes the artillery OP or unfair. It actually doesn't change the ballistics or the valid lines of sight at all. It just gives the artillery a different perspective. And since you're already kind of in this god cam, it's not giving them any unfair advantage, unless you count just a different perspective, similar to how a normal tank can go into sniper mode or a arcade mode. And sniper mode is something an artillery can't do in advantage. It's just a different way of seeing the world. And I actually really enjoy trajectory cam. What I do is I try to line in the shot up with strategic, then I switch to trajectory to try to figure out, because to me personally, it's easier to lead with trajectory. And then I fire, and hopefully my shell lands, and I help the team win. So that's what I do with my artillery. I help the team win. Sip. Any plans to change the Type 4 and 5 heavies? The 15-centimeter guns they have are currently not very great to use. Let's talk about balance. Let's talk about it. I know you guys, I remember that there was this outpouring of goodwill. Like, I've never felt such love when we did our major balance changes recently. And I also encourage all of you who haven't watched it to watch my balance video on YouTube. I don't remember the exact link, but it's called All the Tanks. We actually looked at a lot of vehicles, and the way we do it is just as a quick version. Is we do it macro to micro. We look at win-loss, and we certainly don't end there. And then we start to look in, what's the win-loss rate? Is that okay? If it's over or below 50, maybe that's okay sometimes. What about that vehicle is supposed to be special? In the case of the Type 4, Type 5 Japanese heavies, those things are like competitive with the mouse, I would say, in terms of armor. I'm not literally saying it's 1-to-1. So if you're going to jump in and say they're not 1-to-1, you're right, but they are very heavily armored vehicles. And as a heavy tank, their prime job is to tank, right? Is to be a frontline defender, as well as be an aggressor with your ammo, and help your TDs and your wolf packs do their job. Now, everybody likes to shoot and kill, right? In the game, but sometimes the gun is not the most powerful part of a vehicle. You're going to outmatch people in terms of their armor, for sure. And we'll take a look at how those tanks are performing. We actually took a strong look at a lot of those tanks, and actually recently, after that balance change, tweaked some of the changes back. Like some I think were a wholesale revert, and but most were just little tweaks. We changed over 300 vehicles, I think, and at the end of the day, we took a strong look at like 18 to 20 that seemed to be the hot button of a conversation. And then out of those, I think we modified 8 after, and we're continuing to watch everything. So yeah, that's just a touch on balance, and I brought that up since we're talking about the Type 4 and Type 5 heavy. And I'm pretty sure everyone's laughing at me now because I see a lot of ha-has. One thing I don't talk about in the balance video is another thing we look at is win-loss cross-compared with skill. And what I mean by that is there is optimally a bell curve for every vehicle of win rate based on user's win rate. So if you typically win 50% of the time on this vehicle, do you typically win 50% of the time? We take a look at that also compared to popularity, because it's not just enough to have a guy who, let's say some unicorn out there that wins 98% of the time. I don't think anybody actually has that blessed of an account, but they play very infrequently. Now, we don't want that person to go into a tank, play once, pull the skill all the way to the right, and then we say, oh, this is not balanced. It's got pulled up by Superman the tanker over there. We do look at popularity cross compared to skill as well, and maybe I'll do another video on that. Oh my God, we're at $3,126. You know what? I asked for you guys to keep contributing, and you did. We're over 100 over from when we previously talked about it, and Rybot told me, ask them, demand from them, and I think that deserves to be rewarded. Oh God, he's pulling out his phone. Oh my God. Oh, it's in that night vision mode. For anyone who has, I don't know if I should name the brand. There's a particular very popular mobile phone that they have a mode where the screen changes tone, and it's called like night mode or something like that, and it always really screws my brain up. The last one we did was mediums, right? I just was throwing out mediums. All right. You know, I was just talking about an awakened lichen that like jumped the ghost train and like died in the air and was really cool. Let's just give somebody every single tank that can become awakened. Like all the monster tanks to one person. Not their awakened version, although, man, I'd love to give one of you the ability to use the abilities in random battle. I'm sure everyone else would hate you if I did that, but that's not that. This is the dormant, sleepy versions of the Tier 6 Heavy Kaiju Japanese, the Tier 7 Lycan T71, which is a big, big favorite of mine, the Chinese Tier 7 Light Dragon Type 62, the German Tier 7 Craft Panther, the Tier 8 Hollandhound, the Tier 8 Wrath Panzer 58, geez, a lot of tanks, the Tier 8 Heavy Bog Horror, I've lost my mind, and the Tier 8 Greenwich KV5, and I always mispronounce the Greenwich. Sometimes I call it the Gorbachev, and then a lot of our friends who are here that actually were born and raised in Russia say, like, don't be disrespectful, he's a cool guy. But Greenwich, I don't think it's called the Greenwich. I feel like even now I'm just mispronouncing it. But yeah. All right, I've just been told if you own any of these tanks and you are the winner, you're going to get the silver value. You're not going to get the gold value. But that's still a sweet deal. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Math is hard. That is 8 vehicles. And you know what? Obviously, they all come with 100% trained crews. They all come with garage slots because anything other than that would stink. And 30 days of premium. 30 days of premium. And what should I ask for? What should I ask for that? You know what I want? I want you to list any one of the awakened powers in the chat and your gamer tag. Just tell me one of the awakened powers from the Halloween event that just passed not too long ago. And maybe mention why it's your favorite, if it's your favorite. But it doesn't even have to be your favorite. It's any one of them. Just put it in the chat. And your gamer tag, don't forget your gamer tag or else we don't know who to give it to. And one of you will be a really big winner. I super enjoy the Halloween mode because it's one of the fun things about Halloween mode as a game designer, is that we have so many vehicles to play with that there's a lot of opportunity for combinatorial awesomeness. It's the Lunar, which everybody loves the Lunar, or at least I think everyone loves the Lunar. We should bring that back. We haven't done the Lunar in a long, long time. But with the Halloween tanks, there's so many different abilities, and depending on the combination of vehicles you get, and then there's the Spectre, which is that free tank that comes and goes. It's really cool to see all of the action and fun and dynamics. And man, Grim Graveyard, as well as Dead City, which we haven't done for a while, are just really good-looking maps. I love those ghost trains. Maybe for next Halloween we should switch it up a little bit, maybe make a new map, or bring back Dead City, or a little column A, a little column B. I don't know. I would say if you put a gun to my temple, my favorite Halloween awakened power is still the Revenant. I love being impossible to spot, and I love being sneaky, and I love the fact that there's just pre-placed Revenant corpses, which actually randomly orient their turrets every match so that it's harder to tell which one's a pre-placed corpse and which one's an actual human. I think that's so much fun. It's so much fun to have an enemy aim at you and not pull the trigger, and you just like freeze, and you're like, does he? Uh-oh. Especially because if they light you on fire, you're just toast. No pun intended. But again, list your favorite awakened Halloween power and get those 8 vehicles. And do we have a winner?
We have a winner.
Do you think this winner wants to be announced?
I think they want to be announced to the world.
All right. We have, has this person already won? I don't think so.
Not that we saw it.
All right. Well, I'm just going to say it out loud then. Steampunk Pagan, who loves the teleport power, who is a Chinese dragon teleporter, those purple teleport platforms, which only the Chinese dragons actually see that. Steampunk Pagan, you've got yourself a whole pile of monster tanks, and congratulations. And congratulations to all of you for playing, and thank you for everyone who's donated to the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals and to our Extra Life Marathon. And go out there and keep murdering those bounty event tanks. Just destroy them. I'm actually watching over here on my left, see if I can see somebody take it into business and die. Oh, they're just starting. And one of them's in the garage, so I can't really say. Are both your tanks in battle?
Yeah.
You only have 2 tanks?
Yeah. You just missed me getting
Oh, I just missed you getting annihilated? Annihilated. Well, that's good. Somebody's now happy, right? Like your death served a useful purpose. Whoa, we're halfway there.
Whoa.
Living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I will start, and then it's hard to stop me. I have to stop myself. Wait, I got another question. Another blue font I can't read. Oh, no, it's not a question, it's a statement. Someone whose name scrolled by really fast said, "We do a really great job, thanks." Thank you. Thank you, A, for the compliment, because it's always important to know how to receive a compliment, so thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And thank you for playing. You know what? Without everybody who enjoyed the game, playing the game, and all of you people who are up right now, depending where you are on the planet, at 3 in the morning, we wouldn't be able to do this fun stuff. We wouldn't be able to make the game. We wouldn't be able to give away sweet rewards. And it's a privilege to have the job I do. It's the privilege for all of us to have the job we do. And thank you so much. Again, keep contributing. There's one thing I want to talk about with the contributions and the Extra Life Marathon is we promised a bonus code released at specific watermarks. I don't know who, but somebody managed to reverse engineer and guess what some of those bonus codes are, and they've been redeeming them before they've been announced, and those have a finite number. So if that's happening, if anybody's redeeming codes that haven't been announced yet because you were clever enough to guess what they are, it's a charity to help kids in hospitals. So taking a code before it's delivered, I mean, I hope that feels good. It makes me kind of sad. We're all here trying to help these people. I'm not trying to bring us down, but I thought I'd mention it because if anybody's really anticipating those next bonus codes, they do have a finite number that we can use, and people are essentially cheating to get them early, and that kind of sucks. So for the rest of you, thank you very much for watching. And even, you know what, if you saw a code and you're like, ooh, a code, and you used it, I'm not going to slag on you. I get it. But keep in mind that this is a marathon to help the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. And maybe if you did redeem a code that hasn't been announced yet, like, I don't know, dig deep, throw a couple cents, throw a buck or something to the cause. I think that would be a really good idea. But let's talk about happy stuff again. Like, enough about that. I just thought I would say it. We are at 3,126 bucks. You know, every time Archie brings up, it's like got this animated bar that grows, and it really grabs my attention. Squirrel! And it's pretty cool. I don't know if I got my smash take. Oh, yeah, I did. I'm watching myself seconds ago, which is a total trip. You ever been talking on a cell phone, and then you hear what you said about a half a second ago while you're still trying to finish the sentence? And all of a sudden you start to slow down because you're interrupting yourself. Watching yourself on a live stream is very, very similar. Which actually reminds me of an interesting story related to World of Tanks. I haven't quite gotten into old man child stories yet, but when we launched the 360 version millions and millions of years ago, back when my love was young and I was even dumber than I am now, we went on a really big press tour, and one of the things that I got to do for the first time in my life was go to Moscow, Russia, which is an amazing, amazing city. anyone who gets a chance to see St. Petersburg or Moscow. St. Petersburg has a lot of rivers. It's a really beautiful town. Moscow, to me, is if you are a city person, if you really like Manhattan, if you like concrete and steel, you got to see Moscow before you retire from this mortal coil. It is an amazing city. Anyway, when I was there, I had to do a bunch of Q&A with players and talk to a whole group of Russian nationals. And they actually gave me a translator who normally I'm used to finishing a sentence while the translator listens, and then they repeat back whatever I said in whatever language is appropriate. This person was apparently someone who's worked a lot for the Russian government and is one of those translators you usually see in the movie that is talking while the person is talking. They have such a grasp of both languages that they don't need your sentence to finish before they can start translating. And she sat with me and just wanted to talk with me a little bit before we started because she wanted to know the cadence of my speech, the slang I used. She even asked where I was born and raised, San Francisco, if anyone cares. But when we actually got to brass tacks and I started talking, it was a very similar thing to what I was just describing. Is I would start talking, then this woman to my right would start talking in Russian, so I would stop because I felt interrupted. Then she would stop because now there's nothing left to translate. So then I would continue, and then she would continue, and it was like we were constantly running into each other before I got used to it. So that took some getting used to. And that's just an example of like a really cool thing that I got to do because of World of Tanks and all you out there, wherever you are on the planet. So thank you for giving me that opportunity of having a very, very nice Russian woman get very confused and upset with me because I wouldn't finish my sentences. It's a really fun story. But let's get back to some of the fun questions. I'm looking. How much till the stream ends? You want this to end? This never ends. This fun never ends. Like, I can feel my throat getting scratchy. But if you're talking about like how long before this idiot who's currently on the screen is no longer on the screen, I've got about 50 minutes left, give or take. Give or take. That's cool. Wait, we got another idea. We got a Halloween tank concept that's an AMX ELC that has wings and drops bombs. That's pretty cool. You want it to fly? Flying tanks. Now, I often talk about jumping tanks. I do not recall ever talking about flying tanks. Neat idea. My long, pregnant, fun pauses of coffee drinking are now purely to try to keep my throat liquidated. I don't know what the word is. From becoming parched, so that or preventing parchment, so that I can keep talking and I can just keep being punchy. Right. What is the giveaway code? Now, if you're referring to the giveaway code that I just said that it got leaked early, I'm not going to give it out because it hasn't crossed the waterline yet. When it's time, I'll either be told or someone else will do it. But I'm not the one who's going to be doing that unannounced. But in the meantime, if you're looking for something free and I am not giving away stuff like live, go kill a bounty. But you know what? I have a feeling I want to do an impromptu giveaway. This was totally unplanned. It's not even on my phone. Let's give away. You want to give away a mercenary turtle? It's a premium tank. You want to give away a turtle? You want to give away a turtle. They want to give away a turtle. Do you guys want a turtle? Do you want a turtle? What? Hold on. I got to look at my cheat sheet. Getting punchy here. Yeah, it's a tier 8, that turtle is. I was pretty sure about that. All right, let's give away a turtle. A turtle, 100% trained crew, garage slot. No premium time in this one, just the vehicle. So this is for the turtle giveaway. And in order to give away the turtle, you have to list your favorite mercenary contract tank. Not premium, not war story, but mercenary contract tank. Which mercenary tank's your go-to? Which one do you enjoy playing? What is your jam? And then we'll pick from somebody who answers that at random. Make sure to give your gamer tag as well. And a turtle will be bestowed upon you, complete with crew and garage slot. One thing, oh no, never mind. I was about to say something that would have been a complete lie. I almost confused myself. Just a turtle. Do you guys have like a favorite mercenary tank over there? You want to shout one out? Like, what's your favorite?
I like the Trinity MK2.
You like a Trinity Mark II? We gotta vote for the Mark II out here. I am a fan of the Tusk. I am a big fan of the Tusk, and I remember when we first were developing mercenary tanks, because there's a lot of mercenary tanks in the round file, which actually Daniel helped me build. The way that process is, I'll describe that. But like the Tusk, everyone really liked, and the way the names were starting to come out is we would build the vehicle after determining on paper purely through numbers that it looked like a reasonable vehicle from a stat standpoint, and then we would just look at it and say, what does that look like? Because one of the fantasies we were hoping to provide is mercenary crews probably aren't going to be the kind of ladies and gentlemen that use serial numbers to describe their vehicles. They're going to come up with a pet name for the vehicle that they love and the vehicle that keeps them alive and in the money. And to me, the Tusk looked like an elephant, but I didn't like the elephant. So I'm like, what's a cool elephant-like name? And I was like, Tusk. And everybody's like, yeah, Tusk. And the Tusk was born. So I think that the Tusk is my favorite. It's a skill tank, and that does not mean that I'm claiming to have skill with it. But if you have a really good match with a Tusk, you can really clean house. And if you decide to play it like a heavy, you're not going to last very long. But I'm a big fan of the Tusk. Impromptu giveaway. Slow nod. I'm getting an approving nod. So is that our winner?
This is our winner.
All right. Movado75, who likes the stinger. You've got yourself a turtle. Very cool. I'm not sure what the other stuff that was being typed in there, but Movado75, enjoy your turtle. There you go. Just that easy. Giving away another vehicle. And you know what? It's funny when you're giving away like massive volumes of tanks. One tank, I don't know. I almost feel guilty. I shouldn't feel guilty. It's a free vehicle. I think maybe I'll have to make that up to everyone who's watching. I don't know. In a few minutes. I just felt like being generous. Tusk looks really cool. The Tusk does look really cool. Aesthetically, I'm very happy. Actually, aesthetics of the Mercenary tanks. So a little story on the way the Mercenary tanks were built from a visual standpoint. When the Mercenary line was first being kicked around and we decided we're going to do it, and it was actually really heavily influenced by a lot of forum activity and a lot of directly reaching out to specific players that really expressed an interest in this idea. And bouncing different ideas back and forth with them, like, what about this combination? What about this vehicle? Should this actually be an actual vehicle in a national tech tree, or should it be a mercenary tank? What should this do? Our original OG idea for the mercenary line is that it would have a common aesthetic, very similar to how the Japanese line, which all the other nations have like a base aesthetic, except for like the hero vehicles or the very special premium vehicles have, and then you would be able to apply camos on top of them. Then we talked about it and we're like, that's not good enough. Like these things, they're not premium, they're not tech tree per se, because there's no tree of lines to progress. These are contract vehicles, because when we were launching them, we didn't even have premium mercenary vehicles. We just had a story vehicle and all the contract vehicles. These things all need to look awesome. They need to look unique, cool, special, and make people fall in love with them. So the artists took a look at the core modules that were making up the vehicle and the name, and while they were trying to decide like, how does this influence the look of this? The Smooth Man's a good example. I think that one is Smooth Man. And then like the Caboose, all sorts of other vehicles. The artists actually really took those names to heart in generating the aesthetic. At the same time, our narrative team, there is nothing to lean my arm with here, for those of you who are watching me make that mistake, was looking at all of those names and different nation combinations to decide like the backstory. If you go into any of your mercenary vehicles, here, I'll even show you right here. If I go into the mercenary line, because I have no idea which mercenary tanks. Oh, here, okay, we'll look at one we don't have. I'm not going to spend your money, don't worry. So if I look at the tank info and wait for that sucker, you can actually go on over to overview and you can see a little bit about what are the modules and everything that make these tanks. Now there is a lot more on the cutting room floor that actually informed the aesthetic and all of the special details that went into this thing. And we have a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. Like the long bomb, to me, I mean, Hetzer's gonna Hetz, and you put that gun on another vehicle. I'm really excited for this guy. I don't know if he's in my garage yet, but like if you look, we were just talking about the Tusk. Let's take a look at the Tusk. Is your Tusk, is this the contract you currently have active? And there you go. We've got ourselves quite a cool vehicle. You get the overview. The overview also tells you what skills and perks come with the crew should you choose to either buy out the contract or complete it. But yeah, you look at all that detail there with all of those modules and all those backpacks and the 50. I used to joke to our tank conceptor of, it's a mercenary tank because there's two 50s, because the first couple of concepts always had two 50 cals. And I'm like, I'm not really sure how you shoot this, but it sure looks cool. But yeah, that's kind of how the aesthetic was born. It's based on the name, based on the pedigree, based on just some cool ideas from some very creative people. So the mercenary line is a lot of fun. Let's look at one more. Let's look at the Deadbolt. Look at that guy. The Deadbolt. I've heard that nobody likes the crew for the Deadbolt. They've been complaining a lot about how the crew is just cheesy and it's just not like, I've gotten untold of complaints about the aesthetic of this crew. So I want to apologize for that. I'm kidding. Everybody seems to want the Deadbolt. The number one complaint I get about the Deadbolt is how come this is the crew in the Deadbolt? There's nothing really cat-like about this one. Just the way the cookie crumbled. I think it's an honor to drive the Deadbolt. You got some French heritage in there. It's a pretty cool tank. For those of you who don't know, there's actually a lot of French love on a lot of the design and art staff. Like for the holiday mode that comes along every year, the toy tank is actually a modified BDR-G1B. Both of them actually, the Arty, the ornament Arty, and the sucker normal tank, toy tank. I'll call it normal. And they were a lot of fun to make. You fighting amongst the presents. You may or may not see that again at the end of the year. I hope you do. We always make sure that event mode is up and running and peach keen and shiny, and it's sure exciting, and maybe we'll do some sweet stuff to it to make it even more worth your time. Jeff, what is your Merc tank? Asks Old Man Squint. Borjak 15, I think. And if I mispronounced your name, that's on me. I don't have one yet. As you may or may not have noticed, listening to me talk to you for an hour, 20 minutes, you don't really want to look at me that long, do you? I mean, do you really want me in a vehicle? I mean, really think about it. Really take a long time. Like, I really enjoy making the game for you. I enjoy talking. Do you really want me immortalized in a vehicle? That doesn't answer your question. I'm just a little gun shy of having my picture in the game. I'm waiting for that one person who's going to do a YouTube video customizing my face off of it and saying, there, take it. And then I'll feel erased and I'll be a little bit sad. But what would my Merc vehicle be? All right, I'm going to just make this up off the spot. Let's see. I'm going to make something... all right, here's what I would love to have as my Merc vehicle. And I almost guarantee this will never see the light of day. But I want a PZ2J hull and chassis. PZ2J hull and chassis. I want a Liberté turret. And I want the 88 off of the Fury. That's what I want. I want an 88 gun and a Liberté turret on a PZ2J hull and chassis. And I don't... All right, no, wait. Throw away the gun. I want a T95 gun in the Liberté turret on a PZ2J hull and chassis. And I'll call it the Big Nose. Why not? Or what would be another ridiculous name for that? Top Heavy? Just something silly. That's actually another fun thing we've done. Now that we can combine these modules, we've actually made, like, what if we did this? And we've come up with some ridiculous ideas that actually will never see the light of day because they're stupid. I actually don't even know. I'm almost positive that like none of the internal mechanisms of the gun would ever have a chance in hell of fitting into that combination. But it sounds entertaining to see, doesn't it? But that would be my Merc tank, and I would make it a tier 1. Oh, I'd make it a tier 1 and we'll call it the Seal Clubber. Let's just go for it. Like, I just go in there and... Okay, I'm smiling because somebody just showed me a picture I drew of the ultimate tank. And it's called the Truck Your Chicken Strips. I'll just leave it at that. You can do any inference if I'm actually using the full real name or not. We have fun here. We do. What would be a really crazy mercenary tank? Like, have you guys ever thought of like and I'm asking the players as well, everyone watching the stream, but like, what is just a ridiculous combination of modules that would make the goofiest possible tank? Or even the coolest tank, like, and to be fair, we're talking about fun, silly stuff. So maybe in event mode, but you're never going to see the monstrosity I just came up with in random battle. I don't even know how to make that functional, let alone tuned. Someone just randomly just said, auto-loading shit barn. Let's see the drawing, and I'm swearing because it's typed into the chat. You got the S-bomb out of me. You got the S-bomb out of me, So someone's saying, Badger, please, please. Wait, where we go? Mouse chassis with the Object 705A turret with a Death Star gun. That sounds really good. Mouse with the... Oh, man, you guys want to make terrible, 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 awesome, awesome tanks. So just look at the tanks in the Middle East, the Model T65. That's what Merc tanks should look like. You know, it's interesting. We actually took a lot of reference of real mercenary vehicles, and by real, I mean just like Google searches and actually talking to our historians. It's interesting to serve all those masters. I actually want to address that for a while. Is what would be right for the game in terms of matching the tier and class that we want to put in the game, where it matches the aesthetic and the modules that we want to do, and what is reality versus, honestly, if you look at some of those vehicles, like what is purely part of the World of Tanks mercenary ecosystem that doesn't have a real life equivalent, kind of similar to some of the Chinese TDs, where the FT actually means that those tanks actually never really existed. Like, and I'm not trying to draw a complete one-to-one parallel with mercenary tanks in the Chinese TDs. So for the next person who's typing that and telling me I'm high, I'm going to apologize and tell you that's not what I'm saying ahead of time. But yeah, obviously a lot of these tanks didn't exist. It's similar to like how you have an Edelweiss in the game, which I still have focus on screen. You don't need to cut to it. There are real tanks. There are tanks that were only on paper, and then there are really fun tanks that have some liberties, and that's World of Tanks Mercenaries, and that's why we all love it. Construction tank, I'm seeing, like having a tank with like a steam shovel. What would you just like pick people up? I would carry one of my light friends into the base and cap. You know what I mean? I'd get us all in there really quick. The Trojan horse tank also came up, where a tank... Oh, that would be cool. A Trojan horse tank. You look like a mouse, but inside you're actually a leg tractor. So once they shoot you, it's just like a blue... And then like, oh my god, it's just a leg tractor. So the only problem with that is a mouse doesn't discourage you from shooting it. It asks you to shoot it. So that would probably happen pretty quickly. But it's a neat idea. Getting close, getting close. Wow, all of a sudden everybody's spamming. There's a lot of really cool... Actually, we should save this whole chat stream. I'd love to see some of the cool ideas everyone's coming up with for the mercenary tanks. And who knows? It definitely informs some of the future stuff we do. I know I asked you guys for just the ridiculous, but sometimes we find gold and something that informs or dissuades us from a different decision. Has anybody gone the other way? Like a mouse hauling chassis with, let's say, Chaffee turret and the PZ2J's gun. Because everyone loves the PZ2J's gun. That is the gun that keeps on shooting. Big fan of the PZ2J. Actually, the PZ2J on the PlayStation 4, which that was either a beta tester tank or it was a reward tank of some kind, and not many people have it. It's one of the best looking tanks in the game in my mind. If you want to see what it looks like, just go onto consoleworldoftanks.com, Tankopedia, and look in the lower tiers, and you can find it. It's got a really cool like pinup art on the hull. It's really, really cool. I'm a big fan. Whoop, I'm still seeing some cool stuff. Mouse, E100, and Tiger 5 Heavy mix. That's pretty cool. These are all really cool ideas. And have we got some insight on the clan battles and clan wars? Let's talk about clan battles and clan wars, because that actually came up in the pre-recorded developer diary, right? Like when we all met together, they talked to us about clans. I'm pretty sure they did, and if they didn't, I'm just going to talk about it right now. Clans, we want to do right. We actually talked about a couple different ideas. We actually had a prototype of a feature that we were calling factions, which allowed clans to fight amongst each other and actually have people that weren't in clans help, but the clans were the primary tip of the spear. It was similar to PC Clan Wars, but not identical. One of the problem that we would have with just straight up using the PC game, which is very different games, Clan Wars, is they're on a PC, which sounds dumb, I know, bear with me. You're on a console. We would have to either replicate that entire interface on the console or ask you to use both a PC and a console. And honestly, not many people do that, and that's a weird experience asking you to have to bring a whole different piece of hardware to your console. Like, I think most of the time when you want to play on your console, you're not trying to bring, like, this, although it's a nice bonus, or you drag your PC over. For those of you who are doing it, God bless you. I mean, I'm not dissuading you. It's an extra avenue for information. But requiring it for a feature is not something that I'm personally a huge fan of. So until we solve that problem, or find a feature that doesn't have that problem as a roadblock, nothing's coming. So I'm not going to announce anything about that. But we are still looking into all sorts of that stuff. Because honestly, like, the social engagement is one of the big parts of the game. It's part of the reason that we all stick around, right? Like, I see people platooning, there's the clans, there's all of the forum activity. Like, as soon as you're part of the World of Tanks family, and I feel that way based on what I see from you guys and gals, that's when you really start to, like, stick around and really enjoy the game. So thank you for that. And then all of you clan peeps, we are still looking. Haven't found the magic sauce yet. Haven't found the right thing yet. And when can we expect the next ranked match battle? I honestly don't know. The previous ranked battle we're actually doing analysis on now. We were expecting, pro tip, we were actually expecting a really healthy bell curve of leagues. And what we saw was interesting, was unexpected results. Doesn't mean it's bad. And congratulations to everyone who made it to a super high league. But we're looking at it to see if we want to either change the rewards, change the point structure without sacrificing the clarity of the rules, or just ship the next one as is. Like, those are decisions we make after every one of those that we do. It's actually part of the benefit of doing ranked battles is that you can in between seasons look at what you've wrought and make adjustments or decide, no, that was good, let's do that one again. So we're in that analysis as we speak. Someone asks if we'll get marks of excellence through War Stories and Proving Grounds. We actually thought about that. Now, if marks of excellence, if you're a high enough tier and you do well enough, you get a decoration on your gun barrel. Like, Mercenaries are the newest nation in the game. You get skulls. They're super cool. You can get up to 3 of them. One of the problems about giving you Mo, as I like to call them, on War Stories or Proving Grounds, is it has the potential of being easier than random battle against enemies, and then everyone who did it in random battle might be a little upset that this thing they worked really hard for is now essentially given away, is a strong word. It takes skill, right? Even in Proving Grounds, even in War Stories. But the AI is just a different engagement. There's more of you than them. Usually it's especially if you're playing 2-player, 2 against the world, or even 1 against the world. It wouldn't exactly be fair. Now, we might consider some other way to incentivize that through a different system than Mo, but we're not going to do that. The marks of excellence are going to be confined into the random battle. I do notice that on our Extra Life Marathon 2018, Children's Miracle Network Hospital, that we still need a lot of your donations. We have gotten a lot, and we thank you very much. But if you keep the money coming in, I will continue to thank you. And I'm not going to hold things hostage, though. I will say I've got time for a couple more giveaways, and I think, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's give away some stuff. We've been talking a lot about War Stories. We've been talking about the Mercenary line. I gave away a bunch of mediums previously. You notice how it switches to I gave away versus we gave away before, because I'm really selfish. One of the things I think that doesn't get as much love in the game as maybe it's due is fixed turret vehicles. Vehicles that can't spin their turrets 360 degrees. I think they can, in a lot of cases, take a different set of skill, maybe even arguably more. Certainly arguable, but it's a different experience for sure than being able to rotate your turret 360 degrees. So I'm going to give away, let's say, I'm going to call this some fixed turret firepower. Let's see. How about let's start with one of my favorites, the German E25 TD. I love that little thing. That thing's just so small and fast. So that's the Tier 7 E25. The USA T28 Concept TD. That thing is sexy. I love the T28 Concept. That thing's cool. And TDs aren't the only fixed turret tanks in the game. Let's give away a UK Tier 8 Heavy Metal Hero FE 305 for artillery fans. We'll throw an artillery in there. Let's give a Chinese Tier 8 Yazi. It's a TD. We like the Yazi. We're getting a lot of nods. We like the Yazi over there. And if I'm mispronouncing that, just smack me around. Let's give away a USSR Heavy Metal Hero ISU 130. That's 2 Heavy Metal Heroes in that sucker. And I think we're done. No, we're not. Let's also give away the Tier 8, the Struve S1, which is not the one with the flag on it. It's the other premium. But it's still a cool siege tank. So again, to recap, and this comes with 100% trained crews and garage slots, and I'll throw in 1 day at premium because I didn't write it down, so I'll add that too. The E25, the T28 Concept, the Heavy Metal Hero FE 305, the Yazi, the ISU 130 Heavy Metal Hero, and the Struve S1. What do I asketh of you in the chat channel in order to get all of that goodness? We've been talking a lot about it. We've been saying it's a love-hate, but list to me your favorite artillery in the game and why. And your gamer tag. Any artillery, why you named it, and your gamer tag. And most of those, not all actually, but most of those are fixed turrets. And they are a very different gameplay style, right? You're not going to like snipe. You're going to be bombarding. You're indirect fire. You're a force multiplier. But what is your favorite artillery in the game? You guys and gals out there, you guys Arty players? You play Arty sometimes? Meh. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. I like to switch it up. Actually, I remember when we first launched the Xbox 360 into retail, I decided to climb the the German artillery line. And I still to this day don't know why. I know I hadn't really played the German artillery line. I was always the US artillery line in the PC version. So I was like, let's do this. So that was a lot of fun. That was also long ago where people were really learning the game. And I remember you could see, because artillery rounds, you can see, even if the artillery itself is concealed, you could see the tracing round coming in. And I remember way back in the day, while people were learning the game, I could actually go into strategic mode, go over to about where the enemy spawn was, wait till I saw an artillery round leave, and then I would aim right about there and pop. And then every once in a while, you would all of a sudden just see a corpse there. And that was a lot of fun. I think people have learned that lesson. And if they haven't, there's a little pro tip if you're new to Arty. And be aware you're not going to make many friends doing that. But if you try to anticipate where they're shooting from, you can bring truth to the whole stick and move, shoot and move sniper mechanic. It's like, if you sit still, they will notice where you are, even if they don't literally see you. We are closing in on the last half hour of Extra Life Marathon 2018. For me, keeps going past me. It's not all about the Jeff Gregg. And I want to thank everybody who's currently telling me why their favorite Arty exists and what their gamer tag is. I want to thank everybody who contributed. I want to thank everybody who either didn't use or held off once they saw the leaked bonus codes. You are the real heroes. I want to thank everybody who's watching who used those bonus codes anyway, because you're still with us. You're a player, and I love you. And we have a winner. I'm going to wait for the dry erase board. The dry erase board's actually easier for me to see, Archie, but I really appreciate your text tool going on there. Is that General Stifler?
Yeah.
Is that General Stifler who likes the M12? General Stifler, you like the M12, and you just won a whole slew of fixed turret vehicles and some premium time and some crews. And so congratulations. I hope you enjoy those. I hope to see you out in the battlefield with those suckers. They're a lot of fun. That if I were you, and I'm not you, but like if I got this bundle, the first thing I'd probably hone in on is that T28 Concept. I just think that thing almost looks like a Cylon. Like, I really like how that thing looks. That is so unique, that that turret rig, just kind of seated into that tank. It's super cool. And someone is super happy. Stifler said, oh, zit. That's not what he said. You only get one S-bomb out of me in the night. Like, if you get me, if someone else gets me to swear, and I'm going to regret saying this, I'll give away another single tank. But Stifler, congratulations. Hell yeah, Stifler. Hell does not count. Hell is a mythical place. It's not a swear word. So congratulations. Congratulations very much. What do I want to talk about for the last kind of 22 minutes? Okay, let's play a different game. World of Tanks. You're gonna keep playing that game. That's not what I literally mean. Lead designer. Kind of sleep deprived. Got 20 minutes left. If I worked for you, and you were like, I got one task I can give this guy, and he can make it happen. What would you assign me? What would you tell me to do? Where would you have me aim the team? What, in your mind, if you ran the ship, is the biggest deficit, the biggest missing piece of content, or the biggest addition that you're like, ooh, put this in, and one thing, and you could cheat, I guess, and say like, add 68 new lines. That's one thing, but like, yeah, just let me know, because like this will help inform me on the backlog, either some new ideas or something that's going to keep bubbling up. So somebody wants me to buff the E100. Yeah, okay, done. I'll just right after this, I'll just go to my desk, and I think I'll make it impossible for it to catch fire, make its armor 1 million, and make its penetration infinite. Done. Let's see. Time to kiss the waffle goodbye. Oh, you want me to just give it? Wow. On the opposite end of the spectrum, somebody wants me to completely remove the waffle from the game. Wow. That's man, that poor tank. Just like cut it out of there. Would I, if I did remove the waffle, would I reimburse everybody who owns it, or would I be like, no waffle for you, and then they're just sitting there with an empty garage slot? Or should I take the garage slot as well, just to punish them for owning a waffle? What saith you? More client content. I hear you loud and clear. I know, like, it's probably dissatisfying to hear a really vague explanation of a feature that half didn't work that's not in the game yet. I think that's really important, and it's definitely something we'll look at. We'll look at clan and social engagement for sure. I'm not going to commit to any more on that, but that's coming up a lot. More country tank trees. Now, do you mean I'll take two different ways to take more country tank trees? You could either do more trees within the countries we have, or add more countries. I guess there's some Middle East countries we could do. We could do. There's a lot of different countries to examine. Yeah, we could find other places to do trees. One of the things we look at when doing a tree is to make sure it's a tree, right? Like if you have like a tree of one vehicle, it's not really a tree. That's just like one vehicle. But yeah, that's definitely more vehicles. Definitely see it. Bacon, yes or no? So someone, when I asked anything I do in the game, decided to ask me a question. The answer to bacon is duh. It's not yes or no, it's duh. You should always put bacon in your face. I'm getting thumbs up from that. Someone says Israel. Yeah, Israeli tanks would be super cool. Add tier 11. Oh, man. This game goes up to 11. What would be the first tier 11 tank we add to the game? Maybe we just put the Lunar. Put it right in there with low gravity. It's tier 11. But yeah, I would give all of our end game players that have reached tier 10, that would do two things. Give them another tank to get, but it would also all of a sudden make every tier 10 tank in the game that now has an 11 child no longer elite. So they would have to research that tier 11 to get their elite status back on those tier 10 tanks. That's something I got to think about. Interesting. Someone's wanting the Abrams as their tier 11. We do love the Abrams. I just noticed I can see myself shaking the foot. I'm getting spaz mode again. Not nervous, just a spaz. But maybe I'm self-conscious. I mentioned that a lot, didn't I? We're learning a lot about Jeff's therapy session today. Someone told me to just do it. There you go. I just did the just do it pose. That's what I assume they wanted me to do. They didn't say what to do. They said just do it. Reusable consumables and clan rewards from PC. So for PC clan rewards, I'd love to put the clan emblems on the vehicles. I think that's a cool idea. We actually looked at reusable consumables. One thing that we have that PC doesn't have is you can use the same consumable in multiple slots. we would have to consider how those two systems interacted. Like, are you able to put two reusable consumables into two different slots? That's not how it was intended in either ecosystem. We'd have to test that to see if it's OP or if it's fine. It's actually part of the reason we're sticking with multi-consumable versus reusable consumable. But it's there and something we can consider if we wanted to take that code over from the PC. That's an interesting idea. The ranked battles, but for clan, clan only ranked battles 7v7. So if I understand that correctly, you would have a ranked battle that one required you to be in a clan, two required you to essentially be in a 7-player platoon of all of the same clan before you can matchmake with another clan. That almost sounds more like a tournament to me. We could try that, but man, I think you might be sitting in the queue for a long time depending on when these clans were able to rally their troops and be all into the queue at the exact same time. Tried linking to Prime, but not working. Put ticket in. I think we fixed all those issues, so good call on putting in the ticket. We'll get that sorted out. That is Bandit Man 137, I believe. Smoke rounds for light tanks to cover sight lines. Smoke rounds would be super interesting. Also super performance intensive. One of the interesting things about smoke rounds, cough, is honestly one of the hardest things that we have to explain to players. And if I were to fall on our sword, I don't think we've done the most amazing job of explaining to everybody, is the visibility system. One of the constant concerns or comments I get from brand new players is how come tons of vehicle just suddenly disappeared or appeared in the middle of an open field? And then when you say, well, it's all about visibility mechanics based on your sight lines and your distance from target and whether you have spotters, their eyes kind of roll into the back of their head and they say, like, but it's a tank. How come I can't see it in the field? So smoke grenades would exacerbate that, but maybe also just force us to deal with all of the communication issues and find a clever way to do all that stuff. It certainly sounds cool to me. One of the things I would do, let's say, for example, the Tusk we were just talking about, is if I was squatting in a bush trying to spot for friends and all of a sudden I got 6th sense or detect or targeted, I'd pop smoke and just go right back down that hill, I guarantee you, and try to flank around or at least leave before they found out where I was. I also think there could be some neat opportunities if there was like 2 buildings or something and you wanted to cross, but it was like essentially a no man's land of death, is you could pop smoke and maybe even fool them into thinking you were going across or go across concealed. There's some neat ideas there. Do the people who won have to wait for their tanks or anything, or do they get a code? So if you're any of the winners during my stream, we'll take care of you. It's not instantaneous. I gave Rybot a list of everything that's coming down, and we're tracking the one impromptu one I did do of the turtle. You'll get it into your garage. It's just not going to be instant. Have faith. It's not going to be a code you have to enter either. And have patience. It'll happen. Uncle Roy 13, I'm not going to repeat your comment, but if you're playing World of Tanks console, you're one of those people you're deriding on. So that's an interesting statement. And someone thanks me. You're welcome. What else do we have? Lower the RNG factor for accuracy and damage rolls. So RNG is actually really controversial, I'd say. There is a lot going on. I totally understand. Like, you and an enemy are fighting. Where's he wiggling his hull? Where in my dispersion circle am I aiming? Does the round actually land there? What RNG happens once that round lands there? How much of that was done based on RNG versus based on the math calculation and the point of impact? It is something we're looking at. I think we've actually done a test. It's been a while. Internally, where we completely removed RNG and it became a time to death like instantaneous. Like it was pretty brutal. That doesn't mean there aren't other solutions and that we have given up on anything, but right now none of those mechanics are changing in the short term. What else do we have? Rye said it was possible for everyone to partially win something. Oh, so someone's claiming that everyone who's watching, so like, all right, everyone who's watching the stream, you get every... No, I'm kidding. Not everyone will win anything, or else if everyone's a winner, are any of us winners? Stay tuned. There is at least one more cool thing coming up. I have 12 minutes left, so it might just be one more cool thing. And it is a super cool thing. I don't know. What do you think? Should I just do it now and then like land the plane, thanking everybody in the last 10 minutes, or should I wait right to the wire? What do you guys think? And what do you guys think of the chat? Do you want it now, or do you want to hear me blather for a while? Would you rather get it now and hear blather, or would you rather hear blather and then get it later? Is that one of the stupidest questions that's ever been asked on a live stream? Do it now. I'm waiting for one person to say blather. We love you, dude. No blathers yet. All right. I did not see one blather. All right. I kind of wanted to just see. There we go. Keep blathering. There we go. I got one. Thank you. All right. Let's see. This one I have like a couple different choices. I'm going to call this one All the Tanks. Don't get excited. It's not All the Tanks. But it's a lot of good stuff. Like, I originally was thinking of giving all the flag tanks, all of the hero flag tanks, but that just didn't seem enough. So let me just start reading down this list. Wait, let me count first, just to whet everyone's appetite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like there's 12 tanks. So 12 tanks, 60 days premium. Let's make sure every one of these 12 tanks has a garage slot and 100% trained crew and a special crew if so warranted. Let's get the, do we have any Canadians? Because let's do the Tier 5 Frostbite Grizzly. That's a UK tank. Let's do the Tier 6 Cromwell Knight. Yeah, baby. Like, that's what I think whenever I see the Cromwell Knight. Let's do the Tier 7 Tiger Hammer. A lot of people hate it on the aesthetic of the hammer. I think it looks good. But if you don't like how it looks, don't enter this contest. You'll be fine. You won't get it. Tier 8 Freedom. Freedom ain't free, but in this case, if you win, it is. The Tier 8 King Dragon. We all like the King Dragon. That's a Chinese tank. The Senshi STA2 Japanese Tier 8. That's kind of cool. I mentioned it before, it's just a turret. Let's not just give away the turret, let's give away the whole thing. Let's give away the French Tier 8 Liberté. All of this goes to one person, by the way. Let's give away the USSR Fatherland. That's a cool tank. I like that tank. The Sweden Tier 8 Stark Struve S1. That's the Stark. That's the purple and gold. That's one of my favorite siege tanks. Let's give away the USA Brazilian Bulldog. That's a Tier 8 light. I like that thing. Let's give away the Tier 8 medium, the Vengeance, the USA Vengeance. That's a whole lot. That's going to require a special thing for you guys to enter. Now, I'm not going to make it some sort of contest where you can enter a wrong thing, but I got to think of something really, really good. All right. To you, and honestly, there's no wrong question, but just enter your gamer tag and why you think Extra Life is awesome. Not just necessarily our stream, but the Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The whole concept of helping kids. Like, give me your gamer tag and tell us why this is important to you. Let's figure that out. And then I'm going to give away that entire pile because we're still at $3,151, which is amazing. But as you're typing why this is awesome and special and trying to win, God, that's probably over 90,000 gold worth of stuff. Just think about how to support the Children's Miracle Network Hospital, even if that means telling us why it's important to you. And get a whole bunch of vehicles. I want to thank everybody for staying up late, unless you're in Europe, in which case I think it's early. Like, I think Germany's 8 hours ahead of us, so what is that? Noon their time? Is that math right? Math is hard, especially at this time of night. But anyway, if you're in Europe, Guten Morgen, and if you're in Chicago with me, go to bed. Don't go to bed yet, you might win. And oh wait, here we go. Time in Germany. Time in Germany is 10:51 a.m. I was wrong. So it's almost 11. It's almost lunch. Yeah, I don't care where you live. Thanks for watching. Thanks for telling us why the Extra Life Marathon and this Children's Miracle Network Hospital event is important to you. And I am really rooting for all you. One of you guys or gals is going to be pretty stoked. And are we getting close? I see a lot of pointing at screens. They're running the numbers. They're evaluating how sincere. I'm kidding. They're not doing that. Because I know you're all sincere. It would be based, if we did a sincerity analysis, it would be just a flat line at 100%. because every one of you is 100% sincere. I could just tell. I could tell by looking at this camera. This camera's not lying to me. God, that's distracting. I looked up and I'm seeing myself do this. Now I'm going to see it again in a couple seconds. No! But yeah, we're still crunching the numbers. I think a lot of people want this. We have a winner. I think. Are you going to... oh, we're doing it this way? Oh, okay. Can you actually... Is there any way to make that font bigger? Old man eyes. I have a winner. I'm just... He's literally scaling the font. I am such an old freaking man. All right, here's our winner. You ready? Jason Hemperly. Jason Hemperly. Jasonhemperly. If I mispronounced that, it's a big reward. I wanted to make sure. They say helping children. He says helping children is important because the future belongs to them, and they will take the helm for us one day. That's right. You know what? The honest to God truth is every one of us here having fun. That's a big win. That's a big win. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Those kids will someday be here. We're going to all be in an old folks home. Maybe they'll be having a raffle for us. Keep me in diapers, buy me some better glasses. But yeah, children are our future. And like everything we do. And honestly, like they rely on stuff like this. The stuff they do is great. Like the work they do to make sure people have a decent quality of care. That matters a lot. Sometimes I think about everything here and everything that the game development team does. And I go home and I'm like, oh, we can make these explosions look cooler. Or we can make that matchmaker better. Or we could think of different ways where clans could really have a really good time and really be engaged. And somewhere someone else is going home and saying, I made a 8-year-old who has cancer comfortable today. Like, I mean, I know that's kind of grim, but like the realities of life, man, this stuff's really important. And thank you very much for watching. You know, I got 5 minutes left. That was my big huzzah. That was my going out reward. Congratulations again for our winner. Someone's saying clearly rigged. It is rigged with kindness. No, it was not rigged. A very cool win. I hope you enjoy all those vehicles and that premium time. It's gonna be a fun time. Enjoy those tanks. They're pretty cool. I again want to thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I know there's probably a ton of questions or comments or snide remarks, of which I fully endorse, that I didn't get to. Even with 2 hours, this time just goes instantaneously for me, and I hope it wasn't painfully long for all of you. I am not the end of this marathon. I am merely where we currently are, so stick around. Keep hunting those bounties. Get those rewards. Stick around, keep watching the stream. A lot of extra quality stuff going on. Jeff Gregg, lead designer, World of Tanks Console, thanking each and every one of you, our winners, our contributors, our viewers, our players, and even if you just stumbled into this stream Twitch and you're like, who's this guy? Thank you for watching. I love you most of all, Scarecrow. Peace out. They're going to leave me hanging. That was my clue to everybody that I actually want to fade to like a video or anything. I don't know if I'm still on. I'm assuming I am. You're going to leave me hanging. Hey, has anybody seen, you know the, what was it called? Naked Gun? What was the TV show? What was the TV show was called that it was based on with Leslie Nielsen? It wasn't Naked Gun. It was True Crime or something. Anyway, they had this shtick because it was a half-hour like sitcom that at the very end when they do the credits, you remember like in the olden days, like the 80s, 70s sitcoms, they would always smash to a freeze frame and then start rolling the credits. They always did a thing where they were actually like stopping, and then they would like it would always be some literal like, and then they'd have to stand like that for 15 minutes. That's where we are right now. Am I off now in the middle of that? Okay, they're still hearing me talking because now I'm watching Destroyed Tanks. I thought they just like totally fish hooked me in or out. I got nothing else. I was filibustering for time. I genuinely thank you. I know I already went through that and did the peace out, but yeah, this is an honor. I'll see you guys next year.